Hi, it's Mariana, and in today's video we are going to talk about how you can create your very own productivity system. So if you feel that you've been overwhelmed lately, that you're stressed, that you're missing deadlines, or maybe you're not prioritizing the things you would like to prioritize, you might be in need of a productivity system. If you feel like it, write down below in the comment section, I need it. Then take a paper and pen and be prepared to take some notes. Let's get straight into it. How should you start when you're thinking about a productivity system? Because there are so many options out there and it can be overwhelming. Well, the most important thing is to understand that there are a lot of systems because there are a lot of different kind of people and we all respond to different things. So it's important to understand what your pain points are. So why do you want to create a productivity system in the first place? Why did you think of it? Why did you click on this video? So is it really because you're missing the deadlines, or your head is hurting at the end of the day, or you just are not progressing as you would like to progress? So thinking about those pain points and then making sure that the productivity system that you are going to implement is addressing directly those pain points in the first place, it's going to ensure that you're choosing a correct productivity system. Once you choose a productivity system, make sure you stick with it for a certain period of time before you decide to completely abandon it and go for a different one, or before you start making some adjustments. It kind of needs at least 1 or 2 weeks to kind of settle into it and then see what's working and what not. But make sure that the productivity system that you choose is actually making your life easier. So if you feel like you just added onto your task list more and more things because you need to suddenly schedule and review and put stuff in a calendar, and you're using all the different apps and that you also have to learn how to use, then maybe that is not the right thing for you. When you're thinking of a productivity system, think also about what's working for you currently. So if you're a person that, in the morning you sit down and you write down, 5 things you want to finish today, then you put a certain importance to each of the tasks, and then you go one by one and you finish it, then don't get rid of this. Like, why would you get rid of it? Don't get rid of things that are working. Just try to work out the things that are not working. Take into consideration also your personality. So if you are a person that hates lists and you've never created an appointment in your calendar, and you're just like more on a flow person, creative, and you don't even feel like you would like to be organized, then don't go for systems that are highly dependent on lists and to do things and so on. So make sure that you take into consideration who you are before you commit to a certain system. The first system I would like to talk about is the Getting Things Done systems, or the GTD. It's a very, very popular system that was created by David Allen, who also wrote a book, which is a book, if you are considering going with this system, make sure that you are going to check this book out. I'm going to give only a very brief outline of the system. It's more about for you to understand what the system is about and whether it's the right system for you or not. And then if you feel that it's the right system for you, you can either go, there will be a lot of links down below in the description box, so make sure you check those out, make sure you read about the system a little bit more. And if you still don't think that it's the right system for you, make sure you read the book, because there is a reason why he wrote a 300-page book about it, because it's quite complex. So this system is really great for people who are highly organized or would like to become really organized people, because you need to follow the steps at all times. There is no... Of course, you can miss a week or 2, but if you miss it, you basically have to start all over. So what David Allen suggests or recommends, or what you have to do at the beginning, is you have to clean like 1 weekend completely for this, to start with it. And you collect all the different information, the different possible tasks, the paperwork you have, all over your home and office, and in each room you kind of collect everything that might create some kind of clutter in your head. And so what the GTD is trying to achieve is that everything that is in your head that needs to be done is put into some kind of a folder, or it's going to be addressed in a certain way, and your head knows that it's going to be addressed in a certain way, so that your head is suddenly clear. There's nothing, there's no to-do stuff in it, so that you can focus on creating stuff rather than on holding it in your head. One of the most important questions you're going to be asking about almost everything is that what is the next action step? If you have a task that comes to your mind and it's something that can be done in 2 minutes or less, David Allen says do it immediately. If it takes longer, then you either schedule it, or you put it like in a folder where you address it at the end of the day or at the end of the week, and then you go through those things and you either schedule them in the calendar or you put them into a different folder where you will review it. Maybe you review this folder monthly, and then you again go through it and you think, okay, is it something I want to do in the next week or two? And then if so, you will schedule it in your calendar so it's there, you will not forget it, and then if not, then you will again put it into like a review things, or you will get rid of it altogether if you don't want to do it anymore. What David Allen is forcing you to do is that if you have certain thing, like you want to, let's say your mom is going to have birthday and you want to buy her a present. He is like, instead of like buy mom a present, you have to come up with the next action step. That might be calling my sister to figure out if you want to buy something together or what she's buying her and so on. So that would be the next action step. So I would then write down, okay, this action step in my calendar for Tuesday at 4 o'clock, I will call my sister and figure out if she's buying something and if I can just chip in. That's very briefly the GTD system. It can be quite overwhelming. It's something that you have to get used to. And it's definitely only for people who are committed to it and who are willing to stick to it. The next system I would like to talk about is the Zen to Done. So there are a lot of similarities between the getting things done and Zen to Done, but there are different in some aspects. So where getting things done is kind of giving you all the rules and you need to follow them from the very beginning. Zen to Done is focusing on creating one habit at a time. So it's not so overwhelming, it's a bit more relaxed. Getting things done is focusing on getting things done. So it's not forcing you, but it's allowing you to really address all the things that are in your life. But it's not really distinguishing whether the stuff is urgent or important or how important, etc. So the Zen to Done has certain ways how to enforce that you will actually address the most important things first. So if you feel like you are overwhelmed, you have a lot of different aspects in your life that you have to manage and you have to be on top of it, and you need to just get things done, GTD is probably better for you. But if you feel like you are kind of handling all the deadlines, all is good, but you're not getting towards your goals, you're not reaching them fast enough, maybe the Zen to Done might be a better system for you, because it's going to enforce this like work on what is most important for you first thing in the morning or at the beginning of the day, and then you're going one by one from the most important thing to the least important thing that you have on your list. And it has several tools like this that will help you reach your goal. So the Getting Things Done and Zen to Done are standalone systems that you might implement. You just follow the rules of the system and you're basically covered, because it has some reviewing part, scheduling part, it has a process part, how you can process things that come to your mind, etc., etc. The systems I am going to mention now are more like parts of a system. It's not going to be enough to have just one of them. You probably will need to adapt several of them, but it's a good idea if you already have certain parts in your system that are working, and then you're searching just for those few that will address the pain points. So the first one I would like to mention is Kanban. The Kanban system is great if you are a very visual person. The system comes to us from Japan, and it's very, very simple. So basically you create 3 columns, either on paper, on your whiteboard in your office, or in an app like Trello, for example. You create 3 columns. First one is to do, second one is doing, and third one is done. And then you write down all the tasks that need to be done, and then you move them. Once you decide to do it, you move the task that you are going to work on to the column doing, and then once it's done, to the column it's done. So it's very visual, it's very easy to set up, and it's very easy to follow. It's also great for collaboration, so if you're working with a partner, or if you want to set it up for houseworks or whatever, it's very easy to do also with another person. The second thing I would like to mention is the 4-quadrant time management system. I actually made a video about it, so you can check it out. But basically what it does is it helps you to understand which tasks are urgent, which are important, which are urgent, unimportant, important, unurgent, and so on and so on. And it basically helps you to achieve your goals because it forces you to work on tasks that are going to move you towards your goals. So if you feel like this is something that you're lacking, definitely check the video out so you can learn more about it and implement it. Another technique you can use is don't break a chain technique. This is good if you are struggling with implementing certain habits into your life. If, for example, you would like to read every morning or do something on a regular basis, what you do is you have a calendar. There are also different apps you can use, but the original technique, they use a calendar that you have at home, and each time you do the task or the habit that you would like to do, you mark the day of the calendar as done, and then you try to have a chain of days that you have completed the habit that forces you to not skip on your habits. Another one is the stop doing things list. So there are habits that we would like to implement, and then there are habits that we would like to break and not have them in our life anymore. If there are a lot of things that you would like to avoid, creating a list, a stop doing list instead of a to-do list, it might be a technique for you. If you're struggling with starting to work, or you are actually working from morning till evening and don't take any breaks, the Pomodoro Technique might be something you might want to implement in your work life. How it works is you set up a timer for 25 minutes when you work, and then you have 10 minutes break. It's really great if you have problems to start, because now you know that you need to work only for 25 minutes. And it's also good if you just work from morning till evening and don't take any breaks, and then your back is hurting and your overall health is suffering. Another technique, or better to say, a part that each good productivity system should have, is the review process. I made a video, it's going to be a link down below, where I talked about the 5 questions that I ask myself during my weekly review. That's my wins, what didn't go so well, what am I avoiding, how many hours did I spend on important but not urgent tasks, and the 5th question is just evaluating an overall quality of my life. If you want more details, check the video out, but make sure that your productivity system has some kind of review. You can use those questions, you can adjust it to your goals or what is important in your life. It can be, you might be just reviewing your habits, how successful were you in following them, doing them. If you are struggling financially, you might want to do some review of your finances, etc., etc. So it depends on you and on your situation, but make sure there is some kind of review process. Another part that your productivity system needs is having or setting goals and scheduling. The scheduling comes, it goes hand in hand with the review process. So if you reviewed your previous week and you realize that something is lacking, you need to make it a priority, you need to schedule it in the upcoming week. One thing to think about it is in the roles of that you're playing in your life. So let's say that you are father, husband, you're a manager, and you are a friend, and you have some kind of side hustle business. And then each week you evaluate how you did in each of those roles. So let's say that you had a big project at your work and you spent all evenings at work working on that. So you gave 100% to your role as a manager. But then maybe your family suffered, you didn't spend so much time with them. So what you want to do is make sure that the first thing you schedule for the upcoming week is actually spending time with your family, doing something fun, creating memories, and so on. Another technique which I found really, really valuable is the daily 5-task concept. That comes from Robin Sharma. And how it works is in the morning you sit down and you create 5 tasks that if you would complete would make your day the absolutely best day possible. So it's not only about like creating to-do lists of things you need to do, but it's more about, okay, what is going to make my day great? It might be that you want to find time to meditate, exercise, you want to call a friend, you want to finish this kind of project, and so on and so on. So you think the beginning of the day, what will make this day absolutely amazing? You write 5 things and then you try to do those 5 things. You're suddenly not reacting to the external world of emails and calls and deadlines and so on, but you are thinking about what is going to make you internally happy. Before you start creating your very own productivity system, make sure that the techniques you're implementing are actually solving some kind of problem that you have in your life and that you're not going to use them just because you like the idea of using them. I hope that you learned something new. Make sure that you check the description box. There are going to be links to a lot of other videos and articles that you might dive into if you want to learn something more about those techniques or systems that I've mentioned. Let me know also in the comment section down below, what does your productivity system look like now, and if you're going to implement any of the techniques I've mentioned. If you learned something new in this video, like it and subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my other videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.